What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having an unbelievable week. It's Justin Jackson here once again. Our North Carolina Tar Heels go into Wake Forest and unfortunately walk out with a tough loss, losing 66 to 67 to put them at 5-3 in ACC play, which is about halfway through conference play. And so I look at this team and I look at where they're at to start this ACC play and going into these last 12 games of the season. And when I look at it, it's hard for me not to think about the 2021-2022 North Carolina team. That team started 5-3 as well. And now, obviously, there were personnel differences with that team, including Armando being on the inside. And we all know the records that he broke rebounding and controlling the paint. They had a guy like Brady Manick who was unbelievable at spacing the floor and shooting it from the outside. But I think when I look at this team and I look at some of the stats so far compared to that team, they're very similar. So for the 2021-2022 season, they averaged about 78 points a game. They made about 8 threes per game at about 36%. And compare that to this team. Currently, they're averaging about 82 points per game and making 7 threes a game at a little bit lower rate of about 32%. But we all know the run that 2021-2022 team made towards the end of the season. That was unbelievable. Had everybody on the edge of our seats, made it to the national championship game. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull it out, but had an unbelievable end to the season. Well, that run that they had started on the heels of an 18-point loss to Miami and a 22-point loss to Wake Forest. Now, up until that run that they had and the 3 losses that North Carolina had during the 2021-2022 season, they shot about 26% from 3. Finishing out that season, in the last 10 out of 12 games that they won, they finished out shooting about 38% in those 10 games that they won out of their last 12. So what does this team have to do to make that kind of run towards the end of the season? I think it's just that. I think you can sit there and you can say, oh, we need more presence on the inside, or we can say, we need to pick up the pressure defensively. But when I look at just this game against Wake Forest in particular, it's hard for me not to say that shooting is the one thing that can be the catalyst for this team to make a long run, right? You look at the Wake Forest game that ended up being a 1-point game, and they shot 8 for 32 from 3, which was about 25%. And so I think personally, in my opinion, if this team were to be able to make shots from the outside at a consistent rate and get hot, the funny thing about basketball is that's all it takes is for guys to get hot. Caleb Love had an unbelievable NCAA tournament that catapulted that North Carolina team during that season basically to the national championship. So for this team, can it be Ian Jackson? Can it be RJ finally getting on a real roll and getting into a rhythm? Can it be a guy like Drake to really find his shot from the outside? Who is it that's going to be able to step up and knock those shots down from the outside? Because like I said, if this team is able to hit 35% from 3, if this team is able to get hot at the perfect time, finish out these last 12 games of ACC play, shooting the ball better from the outside, it completely changes the trajectory of this team, in my opinion. And so can this team do it? Who will step up for it? I'm really excited to see who it will be.